Hi everyone, I'm Barb. This is part 2 of a 2-part class called How to Make a Cloth Doll. So the first part you will already have seen, I think. If you happen to come here first, you need to go back and see part 1. In that part, you will see all the supplies used throughout the entire class. So we're just going to jump right into this class and watch Lakshmi, the goddess of prosperity, come to life. All right, so where we left off in class number 1 is we were ready to create the face. Now, you can do one of two things. Well, you can do one of 3 things when creating a face. You can attach, first of all, you can attach the doll head to the doll body if you wish, and you can create the face while she's, all together. In some ways it's easier, in some ways it's harder. It's kind of a catch-22. You can also do the face just like this, as work on the head by itself, which is what we're going to do. You can create the face with a rubber stamp as the basis, which I'm going to do first, or you can take the head and you can actually draw the face on there. So I'm going to show you how to do that secondly. All right, so let's get started. So her head has been obviously stitched, turned, and stuffed, and now we're ready to create her face. Now, I'm just going to select one of these stamps. I'm going to take this one. These are rubber stamps from my collection of rubber stamps that I created called Fun Faces Rubber Stamps, and there are 4 images that come in the set. They are unmounted. I've mounted them on a couple of pieces of fun foam. So that's 2 pieces of fun foam that I've just put together, glued it on to that. And then to make it easy to stamp with, I just created a little handle made out of a piece of painter's tape. And that's what I've done to all of them, because it allows me, by keeping them flexible like this on just, a couple pieces of fun foam, it allows me then to stamp over a curved shape like this. And so that's one of the reasons I do that. And this allows me to get pressure in the middle, which sometimes you miss if you don't have that extra little push there in the middle. To get the image onto the face, I use either the Sienna archival ink or Orange Blossom archival ink. You can also use a felt tip pen, like a watercolor type felt tip pen that you can rub over the stamp, over the image, and you can use that to stamp on. But I've found that these work very well and they're easy to come by, and either color will work fine. So we'll use Sienna because it's just a hair darker and I want you to be able to see. So we're going to use this image here. Her name is Harriet in the stamp set, and so I'm going to get this nice and inky, and I'm going to look at it in the light just to make sure that I can see the light or the ink kind of shining in the light, and then make sure I don't have any around the edges of the stamp if possible. If I do, it's not the end of the world. But okay, when I stamp this on, what I want to do is have this not too high on the head, so I just kind of pick a spot, and then I just kind of roll the stamp around a little bit on the face and pull it off, and there you go. And there we have her little face, and that works perfectly. All right, so that ink dries very quickly. We'll give it just a second. While we do that, I'm just going to run through these pencils really quickly. We're going to be using terracotta. These are all Prismacolor Premier pencils. Terracotta, crimson red, violet blue, mulberry, cream, light cerulean blue, pink, and orange. So those are kind of my standard colors, and that's what I'm using. I'm also going to be using some pens. These are the Micron Pigma pens in the size 01. I have brown, I have black, and I have red. So those are my my go-to pens that I'm going to be using. Making sure that I got the ones I want. Yes. Okay. So we're good to go. All right, first things first, we're going to use the, let's see, let me use the brown pen first. And I always keep a piece of scratch paper handy. And just white scratch paper. When I'm working with my Pigma pens, and it just gives me a chance to test, first of all, to test the pens, and also to kind of help keep the colored pencil off the tip of the pen. These are felt tip. They're permanent. It's permanent ink when it's dry. It works great on fabric, but they do, the one thing that they have a problem with is they get clogged up, and that is not good. So we want to keep the pen, the felt tip, cleaned off as much as possible. So I'm going to go over the top of the eye shape, right on top of the ink. And I'm going to outline her, the iris, which is the colored part of the eye, and the pupil, just so it shows up a little bit more. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And after I do this, then I'll show you a little closer so you can see what I did. But sometimes if the stamp doesn't stamp real perfectly,